My name is Ashley Wilhelm, and I am from Asheville, North Carolina. I am a senior here at UNC, class of 2026, and I am studying business administration with a minor in advertising and public relations.
I want to start with the first question that you sent me, which is, what are you passionate about? Can be multiple things. Did you discover it in college? How have you focused on it in your time here? What are you passionate about?
I would say I came into college knowing that one of my biggest passions was people, but I didn't necessarily know how that would tie into my work as a student, as a career post-grad, also just in the things I would get involved in college. But I knew that I loved being around people and was energized by people, and that time with friends brought me a lot of joy. And so coming to college, kind of knowing that, but not knowing what I wanted to get involved in, I took some classes in psychology, took some classes in the business school, and kind of came to the conclusion that there's lots of ways that I can really get to know people in the workplace. And I'm now going into a career in market research where I get to talk to people about their thought processes and decision making and motivations for behavior and just why people act the way that they do for a career, which I'm really excited about. But on the different side of things, thinking about how I have dove into my passion for people in college, I think I've learned the beauty of creating spaces for community and connection amongst friends, whether that is on one-on-one coffee dates or hosting dinner parties for friends or whatever it may be, but creating spaces where people feel seen and known, because I have come to appreciate the times where I got to be present in those spaces as well throughout college.
So that segues perfectly into how did you meet your best friends, and what are the habits that shape those friendships and the ways that you're intentional with those?
It's funny because I actually think that I met almost 90% of my closest friends at Carolina Way Camp. And those friendships didn't all form right after Carolina Way Camp. Some of those friends are not involved with anything related to the study center at this point, but still kind of that is where I was first introduced to so many of my friends, which is such a treat. And then from there, I got involved in a sorority, and so met a lot of friends through that. And that's been a wonderful opportunity to spend time with people that are a lot different than me and have different values than me and see the world through a different lens. But then I also, at the same time, have gotten plugged into a really strong Christian community, primarily through Young Life, which has been the greatest blessing to have people around me who just care about me deeply and have taught me what it looks like to be a true friend, in the sense of showing up for one another and encouraging one another, pointing each other towards the Lord, and really just doing life with each other in all facets. Lots of laughs, lots of tears, and doing not just the good things together, but the hard ones too. And I truly would not have been able to do college without the friends who have taught me more about myself, who have called me higher and pointed me to the Lord time and time again. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to add.
Well, I want to ask a follow-up then
Okay.
if something comes to mind. This is one of the questions.
Was it, remind me what it was? Was it the one about belonging?
Yeah,
Okay.
How is your idea of belonging and the identity of belonging changed since
Yeah.
you were first a freshman?
Yeah.
to now?
When I first came to college, I think I approached friendships from the lens of who do I have the most fun with, who let me think about how to phrase that. Okay, when I first came to college, I approached lots of facets of college, but especially friendship, through the lens of who do I have the most fun with, how can I get to know as many people as possible, and just honestly spread myself thin through lots of different spaces. And over time, I think I learned that belonging has a lot more to do with being seen and received for who you truly are, kind of on a deeper level, rather than just the surface level friendships that I experienced at the start of college. And so that has my understanding of belonging and the way that has changed over the course of college has been a product of the people who have loved me and shown up for me and cared for me during the hardest times and the best of times. And to be known and loved by not just my college friends, but also adults and mentors and pastors and other people in the community who care about me deeply has been just a gift in the sense of getting to feel loved and cared for outside of just the college community.
I wanted to touch on, you mentioned like pastors, and I wonder if there were any like mentors, professional, academic, spiritual, that have like really stuck out to you, how you've been like shaped by them, how you found them or they found you, those sorts of things.
Yeah, I think there's so many older people that come to mind that are in different stages of life than I am that have shaped my college experience and just walked alongside me through various seasons. I think one of the first ones that sticks out was my mentor who I was paired with through Young Life, and her name is Lee Copeland. And she met with me regularly, answered a lot of my questions about the hard things I was wrestling with when it came to theology, or just the simple struggles of life as a college girl, walking through navigating difficult friendships, or just reading scripture with me, going through books with me, kind of the whole 9 yards. But she taught me a lot about what it looked like to discern the Lord's voice and how He speaks to us and engages with us during challenging times. And I also, when I think about the people who are older than me that have played a role in my college experience, I would say my pastor and his wife, just watching the way that they lead our church body so well, and getting to know them and their kids, and doing life alongside them.
Kind of on the topic of church, like there is no shortage of Christian community, Christian clubs and ministries and organizations, like all those things. Like, how did you choose? You don't have to go into the theology of it, but like, how did you choose the church that you wanted to be involved in, the ministry you wanted to be involved in, like where to invest in, where to be poured into? Like, how did you make those decisions, and how has that like really shaped you?
When I first came to college, I was overwhelmed by the hold on. When I first came to college, I was overwhelmed by just how many campus ministries and churches and places there were to get involved outside of just the sorority that I had recently joined. And so honestly, I took a step back, and out of like the overwhelmingness of it all, did none of it for the first few months, because I just felt like it was too much to try all the things and to go to all the events every night of the week. And if I could go back, I would tell myself to at least just like try to go to a few things. The Lord was very kind to keep pursuing me, even though I was really running the opposite direction. And I kind of on a whim signed up for Young Life Leader training, having never been to a Young Life club, because I wanted to care for girls the same way that an older woman did for me when I was in high school. And so that was my initial introduction into Young Life, was kind of just signing up for leader training and seeing what it was about. And then once I got placed as a Young Life leader, it opened up a whole new world of community with college friends. And I came into the ministry of Young Life excited to serve and excited to get to know high schoolers, and never imagined how many of my dearest friends that were my own age that I would actually meet through the ministry, which was such a wonderful surprise. As far as church hunting went, I hopped around and tried a lot of different churches my first 2 years of college, and going into my junior year, I started going to Cornerstone. And at the time, I didn't know what I believed when it came to denominations. I didn't know what my personal convictions were, but I knew that I desired to be surrounded by a community that knew me and cared about me, and that was not only true of the people who were my age, but was also true of the adults who were in different life stages than I am at this time. And so getting plugged into Cornerstone has created the opportunity for me to serve in the nursery and to be involved in a community group and to really just get to know some of the people who have experienced a lot more life than I have, and to just glean wisdom and advice from them through conversation and also just watching the way they live.
That was great. Thank you. I want to get to habits, but we just have a few minutes. So I wanted to ask academically. Like, can you tell me about maybe one either success or a really cool opportunity, and then one like failure or really hard growing season, just like academics, that have shaped your outlook on it?
Yes.
Just drop it there.
Let me think.
Yeah.
One success, one
Or
failure.
cool.
Yeah. I can't think of a failure that isn't like that I have a great elaboration on, besides I just like
If you don't have an answer,
did terrible in the class. But for success, I think I have it. Okay.
Perfect.
Wait, can you repeat the question one more time?
Basically, like, yeah, just a success or cool opportunity. That you got academically, that shaped you, shaped your outlook on academics, got you where you are now. Just something cool, like something that maybe a new student wouldn't expect or wouldn't know to look for.
Yeah. Okay. I think this will kind of answer it in a roundabout sort of way. But in one of my classes, my sophomore year, a company came to speak to us about what they did for work, and I had never heard of kind of this industry before. But as they were talking, I just felt myself start to light up for the first time about the idea of working in this field, because it related to a lot of my passions that came from a love for people and a love for getting to know them, desiring to know more about the way they think, what motivates them. And as I was listening to them talk, getting excited about the work that they did for the very first time, I remember being like, I could really envision myself doing this as a career. And that was almost 3 years ago now, 2.5 years ago. And in a month and a half, I actually am going to start working for that company, which is super exciting because I would have never known that this field was even a possibility as a business major to go into. And here I am. I'm blanking. I don't know.
Never would have known about this field, but here you are.
Yes.
Maybe name the field too.
Yeah, I would have never known that there was a career in market research that aligned so perfectly with my passions had this company not come to speak to my class sophomore year. And now here I am, 2 weeks from graduation, on the brink of entering the real world, about to start working for them. And I'm just really grateful for the connections and opportunities and just plethora of knowledge that the business school has provided us with as students, but also am grateful that there are companies and people that are also excited to come to us and to come to campus and get to know us as students. and help kind of just walk alongside us in the journey of figuring out what we're excited to do, what aligns with our passions, and what we desire in a career.
That was
Perfect.
okay, now I want to get to habits. Because you highlighted both, like quality of life habits, like what has been really sweet for you there, food, exercise, like anything there, anything that's quality of life related, and then also faith habits of the ways that things that have enabled you to grow deeper, to stay grounded.
Totally, yeah.
Intentionality in those areas.
I thought of some random niche ones, so that'll be good. When I think about the habits that have been the most formative to my college years, it might sound counterintuitive, but it's really to slow down and to rest and to find time for myself, whether that looks like going on a walk, enjoying the sunshine, getting coffee with friends, picking up a good book, relaxing on the study center lawn, but really to take space away from the craziness of the everyday, away from just the constant stress of schoolwork and involvements that are all really good things, but learning what it looks like to rest and to really slow down in a way that is fruitful and beneficial to my soul, and has taught me more about the Lord's character and the way He meets us when we slow down in our present, in our everyday lives. Thinking about some habits that have been super formative for me spiritually, I found two habits that I've developed over the course of college that have been super formative to me spiritually are to go on walks without my phone and a cup of coffee that is full to the brim, because I have to walk super slow, otherwise it spills all over me. And that has just been really sweet time to learn what it looks like to pray and to talk to the Lord and to listen without kind of expecting an answer. And I think I came into college with when I was first in the routine of opening my Bible every day, getting in the Word, spending time with the Lord. I think I often approach that time as, what can I get out of this? Just really, really rigidly, and being able to go on a walk around the block unplugged and to spend time with the Lord in prayer has not only taught me the power of prayer, but also the power of approaching time with the Lord without an agenda. And then the second habit that I have grown to love over the course of college has been to Sabbath, especially in the weeks where it's really hard and that my schedule is full to the brim and I have a lot of work to do, but have found that when taking the time to put aside the craziness of the world for a day, even if it's just half a day, a couple hours, and experience the rest and stillness of time with the Lord, has completely changed my heart posture and my attitude and my outlook the other 6 days of the week. And so if I could go back, I would encourage myself to really take time to slow down, to rest, to Sabbath, and to spend time with the Lord outside of just my quiet time in the mornings, because it has changed so much about the way I approach schoolwork and friendships and community and all the other good things throughout the week.
I remember you telling me about that habit about going for a walk with a cup of coffee. I think you said it at Lydia maybe. And I tried it recently and it was awesome. Like it was a morning and I really needed quiet time. And I was like sitting with my Bible and it wasn't working. And so I grabbed a cup of coffee. I was in my flip-flops. You can't walk fast
in flip-flops.
And I went on around Gimble.
Yeah.
And I remember that you did that. And it was like, incredible.
There's nothing better than walking with a full cup of coffee around Battle Park and enjoying the leaves and the stillness and the quiet, and yeah, it's the best.
Not so much.
Yes.
Of course, slow down. Good. That was really good. Okay, I think this is the last question I wanted to
Perfect.
add. And then if you have anything you wanted to add, but just like what characteristics of God have you like gotten to see the most, grown in the most in college? One, multiple?
If I think the characteristic of God that I've grown in understanding the most throughout college is that He cares for us and loves us and has our very best interests at heart, kind of to a much greater extent than I ever experienced before. And I think that learning that characteristic about Him came from walking through some hard things and, hold on. I'm trying to think of how to. Okay. The characteristic that I have learned the most about the Lord throughout college is probably that He really cares for us as His children and has our very best interests at heart. I think it can be hard to get caught up in just the sadness and pain and hardships that come with life, and to know that even in the midst of those things, He is like the greatest father and friend and loves and cares for us so deeply, has just given me a much greater appreciation for His love and care for me as His daughter. And kind of along those lines, like, hard does not mean bad. And oftentimes I've found that the experiences that challenge me and push me and stretch me are actually great opportunities for growth, because the Lord is like ever so near in those times, and being able to trust in His loving, caring character has just like given me an abundance of peace in those situations.